Hey everybody, welcome back to Split Screen Media Podcast. We are a entertainment podcast that talks about media, video games, movies, TV shows, and then also gets into our personal lives a little bit. I'm your host this week, Chris Blankenship, and with me as always is my wonderful and talented guest host, Connor DeRose.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And this week, I'd like to introduce our guest host, who is Seabass, back on for his third time, I believe.
I am glad to be back, Chris. Thank you for having me.
So first off, we have to address something about the podcast real quick, because there is some thievery going on.
There's some drama, big drama.
This is our first official YouTube drama that nobody knows about.
It's the drama everybody's been waiting for.
So last week's podcast, our thumbnail was this top image here, and then the Vlog Brothers stole it, copied it, changed it up a little bit, and then released a video that same day with this thumbnail, clearly plagiarizing ours.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear to me that because our podcast is so popular, that they definitely saw it and then decided to copy ours almost directly. And you know, I really want to throw out there that not to toot my own horn, but mine's definitely better. Like
it is better.
You get the nice angle with the GameStop going up with the air. I guess for audio listeners, we should say we're looking at the thumbnail from last week where I put Kevin Hart's head on Roland's body from Borderlands, and there's like the little Stonks logo. And the Vlog Brothers one looks almost identical, except the GameStop is like a little bit off to the side. But they did the same thing where they covered up the Stonks guy with like another character, and then added the GameStop thing. So yeah, it really is crazy how close it is.
I will give them credit because they saw ours and only had a couple of hours to put this one together. So I think with the time that they had, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, clearly this was a rush job, and that's fine. Ours has the logo in it, you know. It's just, I wish that they would come to us first before doing this. Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
You know, it's kind of like you know, it's like, hey, bro, can I borrow your homework? And you're like, yeah, just change it up a little bit so the teacher doesn't notice.
And man,
yours for sure. Yours for sure is more racially diverse in lieu of Black History Month. So I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's true.
Definitely had that in mind when we made it.
Yep.
Speaking of GameStop, we can follow up because we talked pretty heavily about GameStop and where the stock was at, and just in general about that last week when GameStop was $300 and now they're at $90.
What a fall from grace.
Yeah. Which is still a lot, way more than it's worth, but there's some paper hands out there not holding on to their stocks.
Yeah, well, when it got, I mean, it's not really that shocking, I guess, because it got up to like a high of 415 or something.
Oh, it was higher than that.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something insane like that. That was pretty close to 500, I think. And yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody for selling at that point, especially if you bought it in September for like $2.
Even if you bought it like $100 or something, like.
Oh yeah, still a great deal.
I wish I had this at like 5 days or a month or something, because it kind of leveled off at 300 for a couple days, and I was like, "There's no way it goes up." Like if you've bought into the hype, like you bought into the hype, and that's it. Like I don't think there's more hype coming, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it fell from grace a little bit.
Dusted.
Okay, I have a question for both of you. When this eventually does get back down to like, you know, the mid-teens or maybe even single digits, are you guys going to put some money into it?
No.
This is a dying company, and the hedge funds are right to short it. But I don't think they're gonna short it. But I take it back. We talked about the future of GameStop. If they innovate a little bit, they might bring it back. But
impossible. I don't think so.
Care to elaborate?
I don't know, dude. It's just, I feel like there's no coming back, no matter what. Like, we're moving into a digital age where like nobody wants to fucking go to a game store anymore, unless you're buying like those super rare copies. But nobody even does that. Like, I'd rather go to Facebook Marketplace and, you know, message some guy that's gonna sell his whole like 40 game collection for $10 than go to GameStop and like have them overcharge you for one rare commodity that's $40. So
what if they make it into like a more social place to like play video games at?
like an arcade.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, we already have a lot of independently owned like places like that, gaming lounges and arcades and just like fun zones. I just don't think. I think they're way too behind to catch up in any area unless they really like pull off something innovative.
Yeah, and not to beat a dead horse of what we were talking about before, but again, like esports lounge and having its own online digital marketplace. I see room for improvement there for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to give a little update on that and kind of share our thoughts. Do you think it's going down from here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Connor, you asked the question. Are you gonna buy into it?
If it's back down at like $5, absolutely I will.
Oh my god.
Not with the expectation that it'll go back up to $500, but with the expectation that I think not only was this a massive wake up call for them, but they have been innovating in small ways. Like I went to a GameStop pretty recently, and I think I mentioned this on the podcast before, but they had all those TVs up now, which look like kind of display TVs, but also maybe like lounge area TVs. So they're kind of moving in that direction already. So after this obviously crashes, I might throw a few bucks in there. I don't know. I didn't do it before and I regretted it. So, it's if I lose $40, who cares?
Do you think because of this, more people will get into kind of like not day trading, but like just buying and selling like being a retail investor?
They should.
Yeah, I think I agree. They definitely should. But yeah, I think that this has definitely piqued a lot of people's interest. I hope it's just not like, I worry that this sets unrealistic expectations for people. Like they're like, oh, I put 50 cents into this company that nobody's heard of, and in 3 years it'll be $300 and I'll be rich. And so that's just not what happens. But this was like a 1,000,000 to 1 fluke that just happened to work out this way. But yeah, I think this is definitely going to cause more people to eventually join. Probably not Robinhood, but something else that somewhere else where you can trade stock and do all that.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about Robinhood for a second or move on?
Oh yeah, they canceled. I put stock in because I had like $4 on my account, and there was this I don't even remember what it was. It was like 80 cents per stock. I was like, yeah, I'll buy 4 of those, and then they refunded me for that too. So they're like getting rid of everybody's stuff. They're canceling orders, and
so they just don't want to have a business anymore.
I guess not, because it had nothing to do with GameStop. These were like separate stocks that I just saw that were like penny stocks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing that to try and like cover their ass with the whole GameStop thing. So it's like, no, we didn't like, it wasn't that we were specifically targeting like the GameStop stocks. Like we saw like foul play in like almost every stock. So like, we're trying to do that and like, get back to normal. Like, nice try, dog.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. I don't know. They had a whole reason. Like they sent out an email that was like,
2 emails.
Yeah, they sent out a couple, but it was basically like the South Park thing with that guy in front of the fireplace, like the "we're sorry," like that kind of. So it was all BS.
Yeah, Connor, you had some news about a Mass Effect remaster.
Yeah, this actually just came out today.
It didn't come out.
I guess not. Not when we released this, but it was a couple days before when we were recording. But like it's basically going to be a remaster of all 3 Mass Effect games, which I thought was interesting because it seems like if you're going to release, if you're going to remaster or like re-release a bunch of the old Mass Effect games, I don't know why it wouldn't be a remake instead of a remaster. And I guess for everybody who doesn't know, a remake is like an entire redesign of a video game from the ground up. You're basically creating a new video game with like the skeletal framework of what was there before in the old game. But a remaster is like, we make some of the textures look better. We fix some of the controls, maybe the sound, stuff like that. And the biggest example I can think of right now is like the Resident Evil series, because they've been going back through and remaking every single one of those games, and they've all been awesome. Like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. Those remakes are really cool because they bring in, it's basically like an entirely new game. And so far, what I've seen with this, it doesn't really look like that. They're just putting everything in 4K and like updating the textures and sending it back out to people. And I'm
All right,
the only like,
that's
oh, sorry, what
poppycock.
was it?
That's poppycock, Connor, and you know it. You know how many new, features they're gonna add to this? They
Are
might
they?
add titty. They might add titty physics. I mean, I know FemShep looks this like the FemShep model is going to be universally the same throughout all three this time. So it's not going to be like some blonde chick in the first one. It's actually going to be the person from the 2 and 3, and a whole other slew of improvements. 60 FPS, less loading time on the elevator. Can you not appreciate this value, Connor? Do you want everything to be a remake? Why can't you just get all 3 games as a remaster? Some people didn't get to experience it like we did as kids. Like,
I didn't play them.
I didn't play them either.
Well, then look, why are you complaining? Come on.
I'm not complaining. I just think it's an interesting move. Like, to me, it seems like the best thing you would want to do here is to try and remake them for a whole new generation so people can experience them with like the power of the new consoles. Because I assume it's going to be coming out for next gen. So I don't know why you would like, make it make a crappier version of that, I suppose. But I played the first Mass Effect for like 30 minutes and I hated it. Mostly because of the controls. And I think most people agree that that game is the first Mass Effect is pretty rough. So me being like, oh, if I see a remake of it, I know they're going to overhaul the entire game. But if I see a remaster, I'm like, well, this is going to be the same game I hated 15 years ago. So I don't really know how much I want to go back and play it, but I guess we'll see.
They said they're gonna polish the first one specifically in terms of control and stuff like that.
Okay, well, that's good at least.
Yeah. I think it's a cost thing. Remaking, I assume, is cheaper than remastering. Wait, backwards. Remastering is cheaper than remaking.
100%.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Like, do you really think BioWare has the funds right now to remake 3 games?
Well, EA does, and they're the ones publishing it. So I mean, if they have the cash, I mean they have more than enough money to do a remake if they wanted to. I think they just wanted to put out something to appease the Mass Effect fans because there hasn't been a new game since Andromeda, right, Seabass?
Right. But I think that whole team is working on the new Dragon Age right now. So there's no way they have the resources to do a remake right now.
Is that Dragon Age 4?
Yes.
Okay.
So you think their audience is current Mass Effect fans who like played the old games?
I think
what do you think? You think that's their whole base? Like who they're targeting?
You don't think they're targeting new like players?
Probably not. I don't think a new player would look at this and be like, yeah, I want to try it without like a recommendation.
Yeah, I think if you were to do a remake, you probably would get some more people in. But on the same note, I don't know how much you're gonna want to play these if you played them before, just like 2 generations ago, because it's not like you were playing this on a CRT with like, in standard def on a shitty old control. Like it was the 360. Like it was still in HD. Now it's just in 4K. It's really not going to look that much different.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Also, what's the price point? That's another big thing. If the price is a full-blown game, nobody's going to buy that shit.
That's a great question. I'm going to look that up right now. I was also curious about, because if it's like a $40 thing for 3 games, then that is a good deal.
I was thinking $30, but I guess $10 a game. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's kind of what that's what the Destroy All Humans game was when they did that remake. I think that was $40. So I'm going to see real quick. Chris, do you have any interest in playing this now that it's being remastered, or do you not really care?
I never really had any interest in it before, and it wasn't like a graphics problem or a control problem. It's just like I don't really know the story, which is kind of ignorant, but I don't really ever have any interest in it. I think I I had a copy of Mass Effect lying around somewhere at some point, but I never really got into playing it.
Okay.
Do we have
Alright.
a? Let me look up. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh no, I just have the thing right here. It says Mass Effect Legendary Edition is out May 14th. It'll be playable on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and then PS5 and Xbox Series S and X via backwards compatibility, and it will be $60.
All right, so let me tell you right now why this is gonna fail. One, it's $60. Two, they didn't put it on the Nintendo Switch, which I feel like would be the preferred console to play this kind of game on, where it's like, hey, I can play these games I've never played on the go. I know, like, that's how I am. Like, any game that I've never played on console, I play it on my Switch because I can like bring it anywhere with me and I can just casually play it. Whereas like on a console, I have to actually like sit down, look at the screen, and like be sedentary and put my undivided attention to it. But I think I don't have the data, so I can't like prove this right now. But I can say with 90% certainty that any like remaster that comes out definitely sells way better when they release it on Switch, as opposed to just regular consoles.
It's interesting that you're kind of the consumer that I didn't really think existed. And I mean that in a not in a bad way, but just like I didn't think I didn't think a lot of people bought AAA games on the Switch. Like, because usually I remember when they announced the BioShock collection, and they were like, "Hey, it's coming to Switch," and it was like last year, and the BioShock collection came out like 6 years ago. So and they were like, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I get to play a crappier version of the game I owned on my 360." So I was like, "This will never sell," but I definitely think you're right. There is a market for that, for people who want to just kind of pick up and play on the go. So, but that's interesting. I didn't even consider that it would come out on the Switch.
Well, I'm not saying like I would buy it per se. I was just saying that people that never played it are more likely to buy it on the Switch. I feel like, because that's more of like, I see the Switch as a casual console. It's like you don't play it so that you can experience these big AAA games, almost like you're a fan of like Zelda and stuff. You play it because like you can sit down on the couch with your family while you like fucking play it, or like you can do something else while you're playing it. And you have to give it your undivided attention as like you would a console or a PC that you actually have to sit down at like in front of a screen to play.
Right. And those games aren't really turn-based, but they're kind of quasi turn-based, right? Like they're
right. It's like quasi. Yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah.
Okay. So it's like I guess what I mean by that is that like you can play it kind of like you can put it down for a sec. Nothing's really going to happen to you. You can pick it back up and start playing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then $60. Like I wouldn't pay $60 for that. I would pay $40 for it, but not 60.
Yeah, usually when they do the remasters, it's a little bit cheaper. But I guess they're probably thinking, all right, well, we put in a lot of work remastering each of these. We'll do $20 a game, and that equals a full price $60. So I don't know. I get it, but I probably won't be picking it up at full price either.
Yeah, I don't doubt that they like definitely like went in and polished the first game and like probably fixed a bunch of stuff and like made it run completely smooth, fixed some glitches, made the gameplay a better experience. Like I don't doubt that, but I know for sure they didn't fucking do shit to the other two. They probably just give it like an HD gloss over or better lighting. So
it's interesting to me that they said that there aren't going to be PS5 and Xbox Series X versions. It's just going to be running backwards compatible with those games. So you're not going to get like a next gen version of that game. It'll just be like a slightly better looking current gen version, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there's a point in like making its own version for those two, because then like what more can you do with an old game that's not a remake? Not a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Seabass, if this drops in price, you gonna pick it up? Like say like fall or winter 2021?
On consoles? Like on the current platforms?
Yeah.
No.
Do companies do this where they release like on the Switch, like if they snub a console, they release later on it?
For Switch, yeah.
They do that a lot. Yeah. They do it a lot.
So if it comes out on Switch, do you think you'll get it?
Yeah, probably. I probably would. If they release another option like they do with the BioShock Legendary or like the BioShock collection where you can buy each one individually if you want. Like say like you only wanted to play the first one, you just buy that one by itself and you don't have to pay like the full price for all three. If they do that, that'd be pretty good for them.
I'm surprised they almost aren't doing that, and instead of like say it's like $30 a game, you know, like if you just want the
$20 again.
Well, then there's no incentive to buy the 3-pack bundle.
I guess if you really hate Mass Effect 1 or something, you just want to go straight to
Yeah, $30 a game, but then I guess if you're buying 2 games, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely the only thing that prevents me from playing those types of games on the Switch now is that a lot of times the downgrades are pretty significant. Like I like the idea of playing Overwatch on the go, but I don't want to play Overwatch in 30 frames per second because I'd rather kill myself. Like it just
no, I wouldn't do that either. I wouldn't play any current gen console game on the Switch. I'm just saying I either play indie games like or first party games, and then the only third party games I play are like remasters. It's stuff that like I know like I'm not missing out on anything like in terms of graphics or performance.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if it's like an old shitty 360 game that they up-resed a little bit, you're like, my Switch can handle this. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I thought you meant you were doing that for all of the games that were ported over to Switch.
No, fuck that. Like if no.
Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. Okay. I think we were just on 2 different pages, but I get you now.
No, yeah, there's no way. And there's like some games that you can only like. Have you guys heard of Hades?
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, like that. I cannot imagine playing that game on my console. I could play it on my Switch like 20 hours a day. Games like that, where it's just easily digestible. You're not missing anything out graphically. Like I'm not gonna play fucking Cyberpunk on my Switch. Like no.
Cyberpunk doesn't even run on the other console.
I was gonna say, are people even playing that on anything else?
No, nobody's playing that game. I mean, and that's the state of the games industry now. Anyway, even if you are the most hype game in the history of video games, your video games last for a month, and then people stop talking about them, and they're done with them forever. That's just the state of the way things are.
Right.
Or you throw out a battle pass to keep people addicted for a couple months.
Yep.
And then season 2 and season 3,
Yeah. Cyberpunk was pretty much DOA. I mean, I don't think there's any coming back from this really. It'll do better than like Marvel's Avengers did, but not by much.
It's gonna be one of those games where like after like a long time, like say like 2 or so years, like people will pick it up, or like they'll come out with an Ultimate Edition. People will be like, I never like played this game. And they'll like pick it up and have the finished product of the game. They're like, wow, like this is amazing. I can't believe I didn't buy it at launch. And you're like, buddy, you're lucky you didn't buy it at launch.
Yeah. I'm still looking at YouTube in the future. 2 years from now, there's going to be all these videos, like all these video essays that are like, oh, Cyberpunk is good now. Like,
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Battlefront 2 when that finally got better.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of games that are dead before arrival, Google is shutting down its game studios for Stadia.
R.I.P.
Say it isn't so.
How is that segue?
That was great.
But yeah, they're not shutting down Stadia, but they're not making any games for it. And for people who don't know, Google owns Stadia, so this isn't exactly like exuding like confidence from Google.
Yeah, we should probably, just for anybody who doesn't know, Stadia is a video game streaming service kind of akin to like Netflix or Hulu, where you can stream video games from any device, like your TV, your phone, your computer, whatever. And then they also sold console and controller peripherals that would kind of help expedite that process if your internet was a little bit slower. So you could like directly plug it into the Stadia machine and get a better, whatever. But the problem with it, and the reason it was dead so quickly even before it came out, is because that technology just isn't ready yet for the type of internet that 90% of people have, especially in like middle America. You're just not going to get internet speeds that are that good to stream video games. And I don't know if do you guys remember On Live at all? That service?
Yeah, I remember that where they're like advertising like, oh, you can play these like console grade games on your phone and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so it was essentially
Yeah.
the same thing, except that came out like 10 years before Stadia, maybe more. And it was broken then, and that company failed, and it's just as broken now. Like, I mean, internet speeds are a little bit better, but the fact of the matter is, until Google Fiber lays down all those wires to get everybody the best speed possible, it's just like they just jumped the gun with this, essentially.
I want Elon
Yeah.
Musk's satellite blanket internet coverage.
That's exactly what we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah,
You-
so I think the and just internet only, stream only, no reliance on any device like GPU, CPU, nothing. That technology, like you said, is way too far away. There's no way you can execute that perfectly right now when it's like you said, it's not readily available. If you remember, an even older streaming service, I think it's before OnLive, PlayStation did it first with PlayStation Now, I'm pretty sure, on PS3, where you could like they advertise like, hey, like if you can't download any games, like you can use this buy the service for $20 a month and you can stream like all your games. But you have to be on the console, obviously. So it's even with them, they recognize like even some of those games didn't run perfectly with the console hardware and streaming because of the internet limitations. We don't have the speed that we need that's stable enough to run those kinds of services. And we're not going to have that for a long time. It looks like you're hardwired into the internet.
Yeah, there's really only a select cities around the United States and the world really that have speeds that are capable of what they were trying to do. Not only that, and the games that they announced, like the lineup of games that they had from the get-go, were already like 1 to 2 years out of date. So it was like last year's Madden and last year's Assassin's Creed, and they were like, "Hey, pick that up." And like the new games were already out, and it's like, "Well, I already own this Xbox. Why am I, going to waste money to subscribe to a service and then have to buy a game there and then get your peripherals?" And apparently I never held it, but apparently the controller that they had for Stadia was kind of garbage. So it all just kind of blew up spectacularly.
So you think this is the end or the beginning of the end for Stadia?
Oh, 100%. I would have thought, I mean, it blows my mind that they're already shutting down divisions of the company that were in charge of making games. Like, that's crazy to me. I would have thought they would have given this another year or two at least, but they're really ready to throw in the towel already. So this is definitely done. I don't really.
Seabass, what do you think about it? Do you think it's
What,
over?
Stadia?
Yeah.
I mean, if, like you said, if they're shutting down their own studios where they promised they're like, we're going to like develop our own first party games where they're going to be exclusive to Stadia, and they're already fucking sinking that ship, there's no hope. Like, there's no reason to buy it. There's no standout. And wasn't one of the directors of one of the studios like he formerly worked on the Assassin's Creed games? So
It's
that
possible. I'm not sure.
That could have been good, but look, if they can't deliver, man, I would just kill the console. To be honest.
Is Google like game studios like big? Like, have they made anything? Because I feel like this could just be a game studio shutting down because they're not super big or super great, and they kind of made this for Stadia. Am I wrong?
I think there was 2 studios, and I think one of them only had like 18 people in it. I want to say.
Okay.
So it wasn't like big.
That to me sounds like they weren't betting on this hard to begin with. But then that begs the question of like, why did you do this in the first place? Like, if you had I mean, it's Google. They have all the data telling them exactly how well or not well this thing is going to sell. And I'm like, you know about OnLive. Like, they had to, because this is basically the corpse of OnLive that they tried to reanimate for like 10 years later, but it woke up for half a second and then died again. And like, you have all the data from them. I just don't understand why this is something you would want to push out pre Google Fiber. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I'd prefer the Soulja Boy console at that point. Yeah.
He got in so much trouble for selling those.
I was gonna say, didn't he get sued for that shit?
He did, yeah, because it was basically just a giant emulator with a bunch of illegally downloaded games on it.
I'm looking up GameFly right now. Do you guys remember GameFly?
I do. They still
Yes.
exist, I think.
They do still exist. But I was thinking like when I think GameFly, I think like Netflix for video games. Like at least back in the day when Netflix was shipping DVDs. And then Netflix went to streaming, and then Netflix was able to produce some of its own shows. And I feel like Google skipped straight to produce our own stuff streaming, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like if GameFly hasn't even gotten to streaming yet, like you just you gotta learn to crawl before you can walk, before you can run.
I never thought I'd say this, but GameFly knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's steady wins the race, they say, right?
Would it
Yeah,
be
right.
more funny if GameFly released Stadia?
Oh my god.
I think it would. Yeah. I mean, it's almost funnier to me with Google just because it's this, billion, whatever, $1 trillion company, and they make some of these like the world's dumbest decisions. Like I really can't explain what their thought process was here, but
I feel like they can afford to do it though, Like,
Yeah.
fuck it, sink 50 billion in this idea. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't,
yeah.
oh well.
When you have an endless supply of money, I'd probably get into some weird stuff too, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I think I definitely don't think this idea is terrible. Like again, eventually this is gonna be what happens with video games. You can just pick you're picking a movie on Netflix. You pick it, you stream it. It's 1-to-1. There's no lag. Everything works exactly how it's supposed to. But we're like a good 15, 20 years off from something like that. So.
Oh yeah. I used to. I don't know if anybody else has experience with this, but like I would have my Xbox like downstairs, and I would stream over like my internet to my laptop, and I would have my controller up here playing my Xbox like on my laptop, but even though the machine's downstairs, and that runs garbage. Granted, I'm uploading and downloading over the same connection, but it was just super laggy. I would never play online if I would do that kind of setup.
No, the input lag for something like that is like a whole second, and at that point, it's just useless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes the stream would just cut out for like a good 2 or 3 seconds, and you have no idea what's going on in the game.
Innovation.
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. Connor, you talked about Stadia's controller being kind of awkward. There's some news kind of related to that with the iPhone and iPad. They released an update where you can pair PS5 and Xbox Series S and X controllers to your phone for mobile gaming, which is kind of
Oh boy. Can't wait to play Angry Birds with an Xbox Series X controller.
Yeah, I thought about this and I was like, who is playing mobile games on their iPhone with their Xbox controller?
I don't know. I think this is really going to be made for like xCloud, and then whatever eventually PlayStation's going to put out when it comes to the streaming, the streaming games and stuff.
Don't PlayStation have like remote play or something already?
They have remote play, and then they have like PlayStation Now, which is what Seabass was talking about before, which is kind of like Stadia. Although I think you also have the option to download games too. Like you can stream.
Yeah, you can
or
just download it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really is all what Stadia needed to do was have the option for both. But
well, I mean, now I have an easy Christmas gift this year for like my mom or grandma who plays Candy Crush. I'll just give them an Xbox controller.
Perfect. They'll love it.
Perfect.
I'm trying to think of how you would even play Candy Crush with a controller, like how that would work.
Don't they have like some of those type of, you just like select it or drag it or something?
Like Mahjong or whatever the old people play.
Yeah. I think it's actually for people who do like racing games. Maybe I feel like that might be a good use for it if you need better than like a little joystick on your thing.
Or if you play a competitive Call of Duty Mobile.
That's a word. That's a phrase.
If you're in that esport arena, then yeah, you gotta get all the tools, I guess.
Yeah.
We actually just got for the Xbox, we got a racing wheel at my house, and it's super fun. It's kind of, it's really cool how you can like adjust the sensitivity to really feel like you're driving a car. Except I think Forza is harder than driving a real car.
Sometimes their oversteer understeer can get kind of crazy.
Yeah. Just like you touch it a little bit and you spin out like 18 times.
When you're going that fast.
If you're racing also like those like super like F1 cars and stuff like that, it's super hard to get them going.
I'm used to Mario Kart physics where I press a button and I drift.
Yeah. Then you get a boost at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no mushrooms, there's no bananas, there's nothing. This game sucks.
Seabass, you want to get into your mystery topic a little bit?
Man, not really, but I'll do it for the people.
Okay, yeah, us neither.
You don't want to get into it?
Well, I wanted to talk about how so with the new consoles coming out, you know, we're all waiting to see, you know, the next gen of games, you know. We want to see realistic everything. Everything needs to look damn near perfect. And we definitely got that outrage when we saw that atrocious Halo trailer.
Yes.
And we were like, what the fuck is this? How is this next gen? But the game came to my attention lately where they have really been pushing the limits and showing me what they can do. And that is Resident Evil 8. And big waifu, gray waifu vampire chick and her realistic titties. Now, I think
Seabass just likes titty physics.
That's all we care about here. No, I don't care about the fact that they went into detail about that specific thing. And it's really weird. I'm trying to find a picture of it. And I'll put it as my background. It won't be, you guys won't get banned or anything. You won't get flagged.
As long as we're not copyright struck by Warner Brothers, it's cool.
Yeah, we should be.
They're on my shit list now.
All right. So like, you see those? Do you see what I see?
No.
No.
Do you here? I can. Do you want to share your screen? I
can't share my screen. This is on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll
send it
on Discord.
On Discord, and I'll share it.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. But people, I feel like, first of all, Capcom's a bunch of perverts for doing this. But I'm not. You know, I'm not mad. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But I think that game. Besides that game looks really amazing graphic wise. Have you guys seen like the gameplay demo?
Yeah, 100%. I'm really excited for that game.
It looks absolutely amazing. And I hate Capcom. Capcom's in my eyes is like the you see that? you see that texture?
That's a lot of detail.
Yeah, there's like scar tissue
all in.
Right here.
They went all in.
Okay.
You get like that, whatever, I guess like the stretch mark.
Yeah.
Thing on top, and then
even up here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they didn't have to do that. First of all, they didn't have to do that at all.
Did you see how I leaned in like I was trying to look under a microscope? I was like, yes.
Those look pretty real to me. But
I will say the lighting is kind of nice. Like you got like the shine here, and then this. I'm looking at the lighting. You guys are looking at tits. I don't know.
Can we throw up the? Do you think we could throw up the trailer? If not, we can just blur it later. But I think that might be kind of fun to like just have the gameplay trailer in the background.
But yeah, it looks really good. And then it's like they're definitely leading, in my opinion, graphics wise. I'm not talking about like, you know, just the chest. I'm talking about everything. Their lighting is absolutely perfect. It perfectly encaptures the feeling of being in a house that's like fucking haunted. Like not everything's gonna be lit up. And like you can't just turn up your brightness to see everything around you. It captures the atmosphere so well, and I'm so glad like how far we've come in terms of video games, especially horror games, because horror games are the shit, no matter what you say.
No, I love it, and one of the things because I was kind of done with the Resident Evil franchise after like kind of after 5 and definitely after 6.
After the action
7,
movie.
yeah, exactly. But 7 was so good. It was basically a soft reboot of the entire franchise because it was first person and it took it back to like its horror roots. And for anyone who hasn't played Resident Evil 7, that game is amazing. And I'm really excited for this new one because it looks pretty much the same. You know, it's not like it doesn't have an actual title. It's just Village, and then the Roman numeral 8 is in there. But it looks really, really good. Yeah, I don't know if I've actually seen the gameplay trailer for it. So
Is this what you wanted, or is this?
yeah, is that what you're talking about, Seabass?
I think it's supposed to be shorter than that, right?
Official gameplay review?
Yeah, let's try that one.
That one's like 6 minutes long. Do you guys want to? I mean, do you?
Yeah, we'll just have the gameplay demo on the background. That's fine.
Yeah. How before I play this, how can I avoid getting copyright struck?
You can't. It's impossible.
I think we'll be fine. I mean, usually they don't like as long as it's not a Warner Brothers property like it was last time.
Okay. Can I full screen this?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that's perfect. So we can just kind of talk over it. I don't really, you know.
Yeah. No, don't play the sound. We can just talk over it.
Yeah, I'm not playing sound.
Yeah, but look at this shit, bro. And this gives me, the beginning gives me like hard Resident Evil 4 vibe. Just the whole atmosphere. And I think that's what they're trying to go for. They're trying to make it like Resident Evil 4, but like first person.
The motion on that cape there and that last scene.
I love how the guns, you know, you never really get that. Like you kind of like the gun just stands still when you're running. Like it doesn't look like this is like swaying around and like kind of moving, which is really cool. But like the actual design, like the art design of this game is really neat.
Let's look at the lighting here with this big chandelier and the candles.
Yeah, it just looks fantastic.
Yeah. It's kind of dark on the staircase.
This is definitely like a lot of ray tracing going on here with all the reflections and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewind it just a second. Look right here.
Yeah, you get that nice
banisters.
Yeah, the banister light.
I think that's the most impressive thing so far.
Oh, the candles, like how they light up just like that portion of the I mean, this looks really good.
Like all the lighting looks natural. Like it's actually coming from candles. It's like nothing else, nothing more.
We should mention to everyone too, like it's gonna look choppy on the recording. It's not. It's just because we're screen sharing it and then it's going like it's gonna be re-downloaded and stuff, so it's not gonna look super good.
Also, I'd let her cut my throat any day. You want to take a bite out of me?
Yeah, we should probably discuss this this whole thing that's been going on with this game because a lot of people are like. They're like, I don't know if I'm really scared or just turned on.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm scared or horny.
This lady front and center kind of thick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
She's super tall, too. I mean, look how much taller she is than the other ones.
I think that was intentional. Like you on the ground, like powerless kind of thing.
No, but I mean, like the perspective of her next to the other vampires or whatever. She was like way taller than them, too.
That was definitely intentional to show that she's the head honcho.
Yeah, I hope this game is as scary as Resident Evil 7 was.
I like that smoke.
Also, I don't know why. Like, why is there an option to block? That makes no sense to me. That's like the one thing I will complain about. Like, why would I put my hands up to block a zombie trying to like eat my ass?
Yeah, where did they get that hammer from? Where does that exist in this planet?
Like that hammer was made for him. This looks very like Resident
Evil 4. Yeah.
So was your topic more about like this game in particular, or were you like just hoping that most next gen games look kind of like this in terms of the overall quality?
Overall quality, it should look like this. They should strive for this kind of excellence, graphic likewise. I can't really say anything about gameplay. Gameplay is all unique. You can't really mimic gameplay, but for sure, like this is the kind of like level of detail I want.
Yeah, and I'm done playing games in 30 frames per second. Like that's to me is unacceptable at this point with these new consoles.
Yeah, I'm tired of people not taking full advantage of the hardware.
Yeah, 100%. Because that happened last generation a lot.
Yeah, no, you notice it with almost every generation where it's like 5 years in, like the games just like finally reach their peak. Like they're amazing. And you're like, how did it get this good? Like this is what the console was capable of the whole time, but nobody like really tapped into it.
Yeah, and that's always it's the best example I can think of is like The Last of Us, because those games always come out right at the end of the hardware generation. So like Last of Us 1 came out at the end of PS3, and then Last of Us 2 came out at the end of PS4. And those games always look so incredible. Like, say what you will about the gameplay or whatever, but the actual graphics are amazing. And they really showcase like what all of these games should have looked like on this console. I don't know what's going on. I guess one of them flew in the hand or something.
Ugh, gross.
Oh, yeah. I have nightmares about bees all the time. Dude, I had a nightmare about a bee last night. Like, that's how scared I am of them.
That's how scared you are of bees?
You allergic?
I don't like bees, wasps, anything like that. Well, I don't know. The problem is that I don't know if I'm allergic. And the only way you can tell if you're allergic is if you get stung. Like, that's literally the only test.
Is it that you don't like bees, or is it that you don't like jazz?
That I don't like what?
Jazz.
It's a healthy mixture of both.
It's okay, man.
Man, this does look very, very good. Like from a graphics perspective.
Seabass, you getting a Series X or a PS5?
Dude, I want a PS5. Series X, maybe. I don't know. I want a PS5 though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I just don't know where to put it yet because my desk is. I did the measurements and my desk, like I have like this little cutout at the side. It's too short. It's like too small, so it won't fit it.
Yeah, those systems are chunky. They're big boys.
It's only the PS5. The PS5 is like fucking like a foot or more than a foot, like 15 inches.
I love this picture, by the way. I didn't even see that you changed it. Yeah, boob detail. A1.
Well,
really nailed it.
the thing about this game is, I mean, look, I already know when this game comes out on PC, there's going to be a day one nude mod where all those chicks are nude because everybody's a bunch of little perverts, and they did the same shit for RE2 and RE3. So, look, man, Capcom knew what they were doing. I'm telling you this now.
On it. They get to that right away.
Capcom knew. They're like, ooh, you guys like modding those games? Whew, wait till you get to this one.
We'll give you a game to mod, my guy.
Yeah. We'll give you the game. But yeah, that's all I had. The main reason of that topic was just graphical quality in the next gen consoles and what they're actually capable of. And I'm glad that they're utilizing it to the full capabilities. Now, we don't even know if this is the full capabilities, but they're at least trying like to push the limit.
Yeah, I mean, the first game that blew me away with this generation, or this, I say next generation, but now it's the current generation. But Demon Souls, when they showed that remake, that game looks
nuts. So good.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I cannot believe this looks that good on a console.
It's one of those games where obviously I'm a fan, so I'll play it. But it's also one of those games where I could just watch somebody play it and just be like, whoa, like I can just watch you play this for hours.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because I suck at those games, so it's nice to watch other people who are good play them.
So I mean, Sony's on the game. Well, like their first, their studios are on the ball.
I mean, Microsoft still hasn't released anything first party.
Yeah, nothing. And then their only first party game that they showed looked like garbage.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh man, Fable looks good." I'm like, "It was a title screen."
Yeah,
they didn't show anything.
It wasn't even gameplay. It wasn't in-game footage. It was just a teaser.
It literally just said Fable.
Oh yeah, Fable. Yeah, I want a PS5, but I don't know. I might get that next year or something. It might be a while.
You're not going to be able to get one till next year.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say.
It's going to be a hot minute.
I'm sad. But yeah, we should definitely do like a stream. I don't know, a stream of that game when it comes out. That'd be tight.
That would be fun. I don't know if there's a way for you can like you can get all three of us on a stream, like if we're just watching somebody play it or whatever. But that would be a lot of fun to do.
Get to work, Chris. I know you're the tech savvy guy.
Oh man.
It's on you.
We'll figure it out. When does it come out?
Yeah. I'm stunned. I don't know. I can look it up though.
Let's look it up real quick.
I imagine it might be a little bit if they only have like the one kind of short gameplay trailer out for it right now.
Well, they already May, yeah.
May.
This May?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's earlier than I thought.
I thought they had a couple gameplay trailers out.
Yeah, and they already released a tech demo for you to play.
Is that? Oh, can I play that on the? I can play that right now. Like I can download the demo.
I don't know what platforms they made it available on.
Yeah,
it's only on PS5.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it might be next gen, in which case I can't. But that might be a game that I wait to play. Even when it's out, I might wait to play until I have a next gen console to get like the full experience.
Yeah, that'll be smart. If you get one before me, I'll just come over.
Hey, that works.
I'll quarantine for 8 months.
I was about to say,
However long it takes.
well, as soon as we all get these COVID shots, we can all hang out together. But
I have to get mine soon.
Apparently COVID can still live in your nose even if you have the shot. So you don't want to be around people who haven't had it.
yeah, no, you definitely want to make sure that everybody's had the thing. It also, if you do, because you can still get it, but apparently if you do get it, it lowers your symptoms significantly. So like it feels more like a common cold than, you know, anything more than that, or what it's doing right now.
Do we want to get into some recommendations and a podcast update?
Yeah, sure.
I should say podcast update, podcast challenge update.
Seabass, I don't even know if we mentioned, do you know about the recommendations? Have you been on when we did that?
No, I have not.
Okay, so we're gonna wing it then. But basically what we do every week, again, for I guess Seabass and anybody else who doesn't know, we do weekly recommendations. Can be anything from movies, TV shows, video games, to your favorite spork at your favorite fast food restaurant. Doesn't matter. I guess I can go first if you want me to, Chris.
Yeah, because like Seabass, I am unprepared.
All right, cool.
I need a second.
You and I were talking about this yesterday. We were mentioning movies that we had seen, but I watched Sound of Metal like 2 or 3 days ago, which is a Amazon Prime exclusive movie about a guy who's a drummer in a band and he starts to lose his hearing. And it's a really good movie. It's pretty slow paced, but the use of audio in that movie is kind of groundbreaking. Like how they show his hearing loss and from the perspective of him and the people that are around him is really, really interesting. And I'm calling it now that it's going to win the sound design Oscar. Like I would put really good money on that, but super sad, super good. Definitely recommend it.
All right, you heard it here first. Connor prediction.
Prediction. I want to do once they announce the Oscar list, I want us to all make like predictions for what we think is going to win each category. I think that'd be super fun.
Okay. Yeah. Should we do a tier list once they release the winners?
Yeah, best picture tier list.
I think my recommendation this week is I love recommending YouTube channels for some reason. Is Chris Fix. It's a YouTube channel that does like a lot with like auto detailing. And so if you want to get your car looking real nice, he's got a lot of great like tips and tricks and stuff. I've been like watching his super clean videos because one, they're super satisfying to watch it go from like super dirty to like super clean. But you also like he lists all the products he uses, just his general tips and tricks. It's really awesome. And if you care about your car, keeping it clean, check it out.
Is it my turn? All right.
Hot seat, baby.
All right. I want everybody to stop what they're doing. I want you to open your browser, turn it on incognito mode, and type in me on that Boba. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
I almost did it. I had an incognito browser up.
Can you screen share that, Chris?
I wasn't lying.
No. Okay. Well, if I have to absolutely give a recommendation, I'm gonna do a little different one that people aren't expecting. All right. So Netflix. I'm not really all in on like animated. I like animated stuff. I mean, I like Avatar, like a basic bitch, one of those.
Sure.
But a really, really good animated show that I recommend to anybody, even if you don't fucking like animation. And if you do like animation, you'll really appreciate this one. Castlevania. That series is the tits. The story kind of sucks sometimes, but the the visuals and the quality of animation in that whole show is top notch. And they didn't have to go all out, but they fucking did, and they did a great job. And that one was produced by Netflix, which is surprising.
Is that based off the video game?
Yes, but you don't have to know any of the lore or anything. It's like the very beginning. Like it's loosely based off the video game. They do their own shit and they like have their own story. But if you know about it, cool. If you don't, it doesn't matter.
I think you just described all anime. You're like, the story sucks, but the visuals are really
Nah, dude, because some anime, it's just garbage all around. You're like, why is this even a thing? Like, how did somebody spend almost $1 million on producing this garbage?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've tried in the past. I'm not a big anime guy either. I've tried in the past to sort of get into it. And there's stuff that I've seen that I liked. Like, I'm going to be, again, a basic bitch, but Attack on Titan was really good.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But then Colin tried to show me JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I
That
wanted
is-
to kill myself.
That is not for the weak. If you don't like anime, don't watch that shit.
He tried to show me JoJo's too.
Yeah.
And I hated every second of it.
I didn't get into it.
Yeah, look, buddy, I like it, but that's because I like that whole thing, like that whole anime shit. But I'm saying for like anybody that doesn't like it, like if you're a fan of Avatar, you'll be a fan of Castlevania. It's not like anime. It's like I don't fucking know. It's like Avatar. I'd put it on the same like animation and production wise as Avatar.
It's intro level anime. It's like beginner anime.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm not gonna like sit here and I'm like, you just got to read the subs, man. Like,
Yeah.
just listen to the culture. It's all in English, and it was produced all in English. Like, it's not made in Japan or anything. And which was like, I'm like, they fucking did. I think they made it in like Germany. I think is where it was produced.
Okay.
But it's really fucking good.
The only other one I saw, and I never finished it, but it was really good, was this thing called Fire Force, which was like these demon fighting firefighters. And I was like, that's kind of rad. But everything else I saw, I was like, I don't know. Anime to me just drags on for so long. I like kind of quick paced stories, and that is not anime.
Oh no, with stuff like that I like to I am not who I used to. So now, like in terms of like Fire Force, like you were saying, I don't watch it, but I watch anything that like pops up as visually stunning. Like I'll watch like all the fights or whatever where I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like I can't believe like they did that. Like where they drastically change up the animation. They're like, we put all our fucking production money into this 1 3-minute scene.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fucking tight. Like I only watch those on YouTube. Like I don't actually watch like a whole episode.
I like those episodes where they don't have a lot of money, so like the rest of the episode is like stick figures.
Yeah,
and then when they get to the
fight. It's an interesting thing. That animation is interesting in that aspect, where it's like you could in anything, even Avatar, anything like high quality, you can freeze frame it at like a part where like that you can tell they didn't try, and you're like, this is just what did they draw here? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my recommendation.
Castlevania.
Nice.
Castlevania.
So what's that?
3 seasons. 3 seasons is really short too.
Oh, that's not bad.
I feel like that's manageable.
Yeah.
It's like 4 episodes a season. It's like a mini series. It was originally supposed to be a mini series because that's all they had the production money for, but it blew up.
Say if you're recommending something that's like 21 seasons long, 17 episodes per season.
Yeah, I recommend all of Doctor Who.
Oh my God, stop.
I don't. I've never seen it. I don't care about it. I just know it's long as shit.
So before we wrap up, we have 2 challenge updates. I don't know if updates is the right word. So one, a long time ago, I say a long time ago, it was a couple weeks. We had the M&M challenge where you guessed, how many M&Ms were left in this little bucket of M&Ms that I had. We never officially closed that up, so we're going to do that right here. We have a winner. He won not because he was closest, but because he ran uncontested. So I don't know. Should we say his name? Should we do that or not?
I can say Alex. It's my younger brother Alex. He's the winner. So
yeah,
Of course,
step up
Jesus
and claim your
Christ.
prize.
Yeah, he didn't win because he was closest. He won because of nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. He was literally, he wasn't even close. He was like 150 off, but he was the only person who put anything down.
It was 242. I think he was like 120 something was his guess. So he wasn't very close. He was like half off, or he half wrong or whatever. But
hey, still won.
Yeah, still won. So
W.
He'll get some Split Screen Media merch when that comes out. And then for the other challenge update, I'm gonna give the floor to you, Connor, because this is your kind of doing.
Yeah, sure. So I put on my own personal Facebook, so I guess anybody who's friends with me there can see it. And then we also shared it on the Split Screen Media social pages, or I think you did that, right, Chris?
I didn't.
Okay, Chris didn't do that.
By the time this goes live.
Yeah, by the time this goes live, that will have been shared, so you can see it on that page as well.
I'm retroactively doing it right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I basically what I said was that I have been growing my hair out since quarantine. It's very long and floofy, and it's getting annoying. But I wanted to make it kind of a fun challenge. So what I said on the post was that if our Facebook page gets 50 subscribers and if our YouTube page gets 50 subscribers and our Facebook page gets 50 likes, I'll shave my head during one of the podcasts. And what I think that we're going to end up doing is that we're going to try and find like a quiz online, like maybe an MCU quiz or something that's like a harder quiz. And then Chris is going to ask me questions. And for every one I get wrong, I'm going to like shave part of my head off. And then we'll just keep going until I eventually get all of it shaved off. So I'm sure it'll look kind of funny because like if you click halfway through the video, it's just going to look like I look like I have mange or something because half my head will be bald. But yeah, I thought that would be a fun thing to do. So yeah, make sure and it has to be both. It has to be the Facebook page that reaches 50 likes and the YouTube page that reaches 50 subscribers. And we might mess with that a little bit if we find that that's too hard for everybody. But for right now, that's the goal. And yeah, if you want to see me shave my head on camera, you know what you got to do.
I'm going to ask you opinion-based questions so you can never be right.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, when is the deadline for that, Connor? Do we have a deadline, or is it just kind of?
It's just kind of up in the air for right now. I might, after we share everything, because I didn't know it wasn't shared. Yeah, after we share everything on the social media pages, I'll probably leave it up for at least a couple weeks, and then if we decide that we want to cut it off at a certain point or change up the challenge a little bit, we will. But I'll probably be reminding everybody on the page every couple days, be like, hey, don't forget to do all that. So. Should be fun.
Okay. Should we set like a smaller goal for 25 on both?
Yeah, we might end up doing that. That's kind of what I meant, like by adjusting. I think I'm going to leave it up for a few more days and see how many more subscribers we get for each. Okay. But yeah, we might have to adjust it a little bit based on how many people decide to click on it. But we'll see.
Okay. Well, I think that just about wraps it up here. This has been episode 16. Thank you, Connor. Thank you for your time, Seabass. It was a pleasure. I think we had some great discussions. So yeah, give us a like if you liked it. Sub if you want. New podcasts every Friday. And just enjoy your weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.